Hurricane Maria storms raging in Atlantic with one eyeing Irma's path. 3 storms are swaggering through the Atlantic, with one already a hurricane and another forecast to strengthen and threaten areas battered by Hurricane Irma last week. Tropical Storm Maria formed Saturday in the western Atlantic Ocean and is expected to be a hurricane by late Monday and a major hurricane by Wednesday, the National Hurricane Center says. As of 11 p.m. ET, Maria was about 545 miles east-southeast of the Lesser Antilles, packing maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. The storm is moving toward the Caribbean at 16 miles per hour, according to the center. The core of Maria was expected to hit the Leeward Islands in 48 to 72 hours, and then move toward Puerto Rico in 4 days, then on toward eastern Hispaniola, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, in about 5 days. The NHC said. That means areas devastated by Irma could again be dealing with hurricane conditions by Tuesday or Wednesday. Hurricane watches have been issued for Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts, Nevis and Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Saba and St. Eustatius, St. Martin and Anguilla. Tropical storm watches are posted for Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Maria could also affect the British and U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico by midweek as a dangerous major hurricane, and hurricane watches could be issued for these islands as early as Sunday. Interest in these areas should monitor the progress of Maria and follow any advice given by local officials, the NHC said. The center warned that rapid intensification was a distinct possibility and it would be no surprise if Maria got significantly stronger than currently forecast. Hurricane Jose. Meanwhile, Hurricane Jose, a Category 1 storm, is spinning about 465 miles south-southeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina and 465 miles west-southwest of Bermuda. Jose currently has maximum sustained winds of 80 miles per hour and is expected to remain a hurricane through Monday night, the Hurricane Center said. Areas of the east coast of the United States from North Carolina to New England should monitor the storm's progress, it said, with tropical storm watches possible during the next day or two. While Jose is currently forecast to remain offshore of the U.S. coast from Virginia northward to New England, the large cyclone could cause some direct impacts to these areas, and any deviation to the left of the NHC forecast track would increase the likelihood and magnitude of those impacts, the Hurricane Center said. Swells generated by Jose were affecting Bermuda, the Bahamas, the northern coast of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico, and much of the U.S. East Coast, it said, with dangerous surf and rip currents likely for the next several days. Tropical Storm Lee. There's also Tropical Storm Lee, which formed earlier Saturday in the eastern Atlantic Ocean. Lee is spinning about 760 miles west-southwest of Cape Verde off northwest Africa and packing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. According to the National Hurricane Center, Lee is weakening and is expected to disappear completely within 5 days, the center said, with no land warnings issued. Tropical Storm Maria formed in the western Atlantic Ocean is prompting a hurricane watch for areas battered by Hurricane Irma last week. The storm is moving towards the Caribbean. Maria is expected to gain strength later in the week and become a hurricane by late Tuesday. Tropical storm watches are posted for Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The hurricane watch covers Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat and Guadeloupe. That means areas devastated by Irma could again be dealing with hurricane conditions by Wednesday or Thursday. Maria joins Tropical Storm Lee, which formed in the eastern Atlantic Ocean. Hurricane Maria. When will Tropical Storm Maria become Hurricane Maria? Tropical Storm Maria will become Hurricane Maria by Monday, according to the latest forecast. The storm has been brewing in the Atlantic for a few days and is heading west, set to affect several islands in the Caribbean. Maria may not look too aggressive right now, as she heads toward Barbados at 15 to 20 miles per hour. She is expected to intensify. As you can see in the photo below, Maria will become a Category 1 hurricane on Sunday afternoon, with winds around 75 miles per hour. By Tuesday afternoon, Maria is expected to strengthen to a Category 2, with winds around 110 miles per hour. As she sets her sights on Puerto Rico, Maria's winds will increase yet again, and she will likely become a Category 3. She will weaken a bit as she travels over land, heading to Hispaniola as a Category 2. Although Maria is not yet a hurricane, watches have already been issued in many Caribbean nations. Hurricane watches have been issued for Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Montserrat. Tropical storm watches have been posted for portions of the Lesser Antilles including St. Lucia, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tropical storm conditions are possible here on Monday, the Weather Channel reports. After Hurricane Maria passes the Dominican Republic, she may go in any direction. She could continue traveling northwest, impacting Haiti, Cuba, and eventually Florida. Or, she may travel further north, impacting states along the eastern seaboard. The latest GFS and European models aren't in sync at this time, but their projections are expected to change over the next week or so. Maria could impact Florida or North Carolina. There's also a chance that she will go out to sea. Further updates on Maria's path will become available every few hours. Her exact track may not be known until she makes landfall. Tropical storm Maria has formed in the Atlantic and she is moving northeast, with her sights set on the Caribbean. Many of the islands that are currently in Maria's path were directly affected by Hurricane Irma earlier this month. Maria is expected to become a hurricane in the coming days and she will strengthen to a Category 3 as she moves swiftly over Puerto Rico. According to Tampa area meteorologist Dennis Phillips' latest map, Maria will then become a Category 2 as she moves onward toward the Dominican Republic. You can see that map below. The following map shows Maria's projected path. According to the National Hurricane Center, many of the islands in the Caribbean are within the cone of uncertainty, which could be absolutely devastating, even if the storm is only a Category 2. Many of these places endured Irma's wrath as she barreled her way through them as a Category 5. Below are graphics from some of the latest GFS models, which take Maria away from Florida. She could make landfall in the Carolinas, according to the most recent runs. However, this forecast is still 10 days out and could change. Below are the graphics from the latest Euro models, which run at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day. The Euro models have spit out several possible tracks for Maria. Some take her into Florida, very similar to Hurricane Irma, while others take her out to sea. Interestingly, the Euro model also shows Maria interacting with Hurricane Jose, who is supposed to be heading out to sea. You can see this in graphics 3 and 4. Tropical storm Maria continues to develop east of the Lesser Antilles and is expected to quickly or rapidly strengthen over the next several days, posing yet another hurricane threat to the Lesser Antilles. Tropical storm Maria is located less than 550 miles east-southeast of the Lesser Antilles and is moving west at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Atmospheric conditions should be favorable for quick or even rapid development and it is forecast to strengthen into a hurricane as Sunday night. Tropical storm Maria is expected to move in a more west-northwestward direction over the next few days and will likely approach the Leeward Islands Monday. Hurricane watches have been issued for Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Saba and St. Eustatius, St. Martin and Anguilla. Hurricane conditions are possible here on Monday night or Tuesday. Tropical storm watches have been posted for portions of the Lesser Antilles including St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tropical storm conditions are possible here on Monday. Rainfall totals of 6 to 12 inches are possible in the central and southern Leeward Island through Tuesday night, with locally up to 20 inches in some spots. In the northern Leeward Islands, 2 to 4 inches of rain are likely, with isolated spots receiving 8 inches. A storm surge of 3 to 5 feet is expected from Barbuda and St. Kitts southward to Guadeloupe. High surf and dangerous rip currents are also expected by Sunday night in the Lesser Antilles. Interests in the Caribbean should watch this system closely, especially locations in the northern Leeward Islands that were recently devastated by Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Irma may be gone, but the 2017 hurricane season clearly isn't done yet. Tropical storm Maria has formed in the Atlantic and is now advancing on the same islands that took the brunt of Irma's wrath. The storm's forecast track, according to the National Hurricane Center, NHC, has it strengthening into a hurricane as it approaches the Leeward Islands early next week. A hurricane watch has been issued for Antigua, St. Kitts, Nevis, Montserrat and the tiny, Irma-devastated island of Barbuda. While it appears unlikely right now that Maria will soon strengthen into the Category 5 monster the turmoil was when it walloped the Caribbean, it could still bring a 3 to 5 foot storm surge. But most disturbing are forecasts that this latest storm could dump up to 8 inches of rain in the northern Leeward Islands, including the Virgin Islands, and as much as 20 inches of total rainfall in the central and southern Leewards, including Barbuda. The NHC warns the rains could cause life-threatening flash floods and mudslides, and that's to say nothing of how a fresh downpour could hamper current Irma recovery efforts. As if all this weren't enough, another tropical storm named Lee is lurking in the Atlantic behind Maria, slowly but ominously moving to the west. Fortunately, for the moment, it does not appear to be strengthening in intensity. Finally, let's not forget about Hurricane Jose, which is currently about 500 miles off the coast of North Carolina and slowly lumbering north with 80 miles per hour winds, according to the NHC. While Jose doesn't seem to be threatening to blow into town anywhere anytime soon, it could cause dangerous surf and rip currents along portions of the east coast for the next several days. The main takeaway here: don't take your eyes off the Atlantic just yet. Tropical Storm Maria formed Saturday in the western Atlantic Ocean, prompting a hurricane watch for areas battered by Hurricane Irma last week. Maria is about 590 miles east-southeast of the Lesser Antilles and is packing maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. The storm is moving toward the Caribbean at 19 miles per hour, according to the National Hurricane Center. Maria is expected to gain strength through the weekend and become a hurricane by late Monday, forecasters said. Tropical storm watches are posted for Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The hurricane watch covers Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat and Guadeloupe. That means areas devastated by Irma could again be dealing with hurricane conditions by Tuesday or Wednesday. Maria joins Tropical Storm Lee, which formed earlier Saturday in the eastern Atlantic Ocean. Lee is spinning about 720 miles west-southwest of Cape Verde off northwest Africa and packing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. According to the National Hurricane Center, Lee isn't expected to gain much strength over the next 48 hours and will likely fade to a tropical depression by Wednesday without affecting land, the center said. These new Atlantic systems join Hurricane Jose, a Category 1 storm spinning about 480 miles south-southeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Jose could bring rain and wind to the U.S. Northeast early next week. Tropical Storm Maria has formed in the Atlantic and seems to following a similar path to Hurricane Irma. At this time, the storm has not strengthened to a hurricane, but she is expected to do so over the next couple of days. The latest models from the National Hurricane Center show Maria heading over the Caribbean and possibly disrupting Puerto Rico before setting her sights on Florida, or, at least, in Florida's general direction. While it is entirely possible that she will go out to sea, there is also the possibility that Maria will make landfall in Florida or that she will ride up the eastern seaboard, affecting several states along the way. Below is the latest projected path for Tropical Storm Maria. As you can see, Maria does appear to be moving a bit north as she moves east, which could spare the state of Florida, but the cone of uncertainty is still pretty broad at this point in time. If she keeps moving in this exact direction, Florida will most certainly be in her path. Tropical Storm Maria has formed east of the Lesser Antilles, now forecast to become a major hurricane Tuesday into Wednesday. Current forecast takes it to the northern islands of the Caribbean, some of which were hit by Hurricane Irma. Tampa, Florida, meteorologist Dennis Phillips wrote on his Facebook page on Saturday afternoon. On Saturday night, Phillips posted an updated map of hurricane strength that shows Maria becoming a Category 3 storm before she reaches Puerto Rico. According to that map, Maria will continue on as a Category 3 storm as she moves toward the Dominican Republic, feels an impact sometime on Thursday. Check it out below. Below is a map showing the earliest arrival times of tropical storm force winds. Maria should be making her way toward the Bahamas by Wednesday,